do this. All right, here we are again, episode 2 of our prep update. So, I'm going to be interviewed today by my husband. I had some ideas. They're on my phone, and we're using the phone to record, so I don't even remember what I was going to talk about.
That's okay. So here we are. We're 2 weeks in, a full 2 weeks in now, almost 2.5, just of Bethany's journey into becoming a bikini fitness competitor. And we're just going to kind of recap what we've experienced over the past 2 weeks. So at this point, give us a rundown of currently the status of our household and what we're dealing with. Ready? Go.
Okay, so first of all, the boys have been not feeling the best. So they've been a little bit on and off sick. And like the bad kind, like filling up diapers and throwing up. So first there's that. Also, I've actually been busy with my government contracting job. So I'm sitting at the computer a lot, which means I'm not cleaning as much as I like to. So things are a little disheveled. I would like the house to be a little cleaner and more organized than it currently is. What else? My jewelry business is inching along. But I mean, it's whatever. Yeah, so I mean, things are...
So one of the things that I've learned about my wife over the past 16 years that I've known you, 17 years that I've known you, is that she has the amazing capacity to do so many things. She can just handle a workload that's beyond anyone else's. But what we're learning is that that this is taking more time out of her day and more time out of her mental space to be able to focus on and spend time and commit to these kind of things, which is fine. We knew that going into it. We knew that. I feel like I might have had a better idea or expectation of that.
I feel like I'm still getting into the swing of things, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're still getting into the swing of things. We're finding that balance of it. I've been trying to step up as much as I possibly can when I can out of my home, and we're just finding that balance. And that's really what it's going to boil down to, is just finding the balance of what needs to be done and making sure that we check all the boxes as we continue forward.
Also, I feel like it's been, I guess, a little bit hard because we've had some emotional struggle. I don't want to say struggles because they're not struggles. They're just like emotion. It's an emotional roller coaster. They're not just life. But so, for example, we sold one of our cars and bought a new car, and the new car is in the shop. Well, it was in the shop, and then we got it back, and it's going back in the shop again. Yeah. So it's like for him, that's more of an emotional, like, oh my gosh, I just want my car back kind of thing. For me, I just have the same car that I've been driving, so it doesn't affect me, and so I'm not dealing with that. However, I'm dealing with stress of, the kids being sick, me trying to keep up with housework, spending more time at the gym, trying to get my jewelry business in, and I mean, even just little things like making sure that I'm counting all my macros and making sure I'm drinking all my water and, just all the little things that add up. And by the time that, 8:30 comes around, I'm like, oh my God, I have to go to bed in half an hour, which is a struggle for me because usually I'm used to staying up till 10:30 and then getting up at 4, which is also, I feel like that's where I'm losing a lot of my time because I'm trying to sleep more, which I need to do anyway, just for my health and, in general, but it's a struggle trying to wrap everything up and have the kids in bed by 8:30 and then have me in bed by 9, mm-hmm. have everything cleaned up. I try to have dinner for him, have a shake for him, and have all my stuff taken care of. It's a lot.
Well, and twofold to kind of piggyback on what you said. First of all, on the car thing, it's not a matter of I can't have my car. It's that I put the financial burden on our family to purchase a new vehicle, and it's still costing us more money than what I had already planned. Irregardless, it's not about a car. It's about this journey together. The second thing is this: I understand my schedule is that like I'm not home in the evenings. So many of the evenings when she's trying to make dinner, clean the house, take care of the boys, handle those things, I'm at work. So I won't get home till 9 o'clock. So she, thankfully is gracious enough to leave me a plate that I can heat up, to leave me a shake. So and that's something that I really appreciate. All things that she doesn't have to do, but I really appreciate that she does them for me. So telling you in front of the world, thank you for that, because I know you don't have to do that.
Yeah, I like doing it for you.
So that's kind of the current status and kind of what we're wrestling through. How's your training going? So you've been 2.5, almost 3 weeks into the programming from Paul. Talk about it. What do you think about it? What's going on there?
Okay, so this training is a lot different than any training I've done, and we touched on the last video how I was CrossFitting for several years, and when you CrossFit, it's typically do as much work in the smallest amount of time possible. It's constantly racing yourself and racing others. It's like an internal and external competition all the time. Well, for bodybuilding, it's really different for several reasons. One, you are supposed to be getting in, make sure I say this right, you're supposed to be getting in just the most amount of work, period. It doesn't, like the time domain doesn't necessarily matter. I mean, you need to rest a specific amount of time or more. And that's different for me because I'm used to like go and then the next rep and then go and then go and then go. So this I have a timer and I'm making myself wait at least 90 seconds to 2 minutes in between sets, and it's different. So even doing that is taking a little bit longer. The style of training is different because I'm lifting weights, and I mean I'm doing cardio. I've been bumped up to 30 minutes 3 times a week, but that's it. And that's like usually walking on a treadmill or doing a step mill. So it's totally different kind of cardio. But as for the lifting, I really like it. It's just different than what I've normally done. People would probably look at me and they're like, oh my gosh, really, you do you do glutes and shoulders 3 days a week. You do shoulders about 4 days a week, but I like it. Like I don't mind it at all. I've noticed a huge difference in my physique, which is the whole point. Is you are literally building your body to look a certain way, and so I had a very CrossFit shaped body when I started. Lots of dense muscle, but very thick. My waist is thick. My legs were big. Well, actually, no. My legs were medium, no butt, and then lots of upper body. And so I've had to really work on growing my booty because it was lacking seriously. So, I mean, and I've seen gains for sure because I've been, hip thrusting for like a year now. But it's really cool to see the changes and to see how the body can change. And now, even though I'm doing this because I'm very competitive, it's a different kind of competition because I'm working on myself. And I think one of the reasons why it's appealing to me is I'm a very visual person. I'm an artist, and this has kind of taken art into it's crossed the art form of bodybuilding with my competitive drive. So it's kind of interesting how they've intertwined now. But yeah, I mean the training is fun. It's hard by the time that I get to the end of my training session, which is usually like half an hour after you're done with his. I'm done. Like I'm done lifting. Like my muscles are tired.
Well, what you're finding, in the training, there's a lot more sets. There's a lot higher volume, and most of that volume is to be performed at a high level of intensity. So making sure that you're taking that 2 to 5 minute break, which is recommended for muscle hypertrophy and all this kind of thing. It's just it's a different way of training. It's fun to see you kind of stepping into the gym and do some more of those traditional style lifts. Like you said, it's all shoulders and booty, which, hey, That's okay. But yeah, you're literally just kind of crafting the body to what the judges or what the standard is for the division, which is kind of neat. Um, with that being said, what about fueling your system? So where are we at with our macros? Where are we at with our weight? Those kinds of numbers.
Okay. Well, actually, I have them. I have them right here. So my actual macro breakdown. Now I'm going to share these. These are not for everyone. These are my personal macros that my coach gave me. And I mean, he's even mentioned, like, I'm eating a lot more food than a lot of competitors eat. I think that, I mean, I'm blessed with a decent metabolism, but also I've been eating a lot for a long time because I was competitive, and so I was fueling my performance. I also had a certificate. I had a couple certificates for health coaching, and I got one through a company called Eat to Perform, and it taught me a lot about counting macros and what I should be eating, and it's helped me have it's I don't even know how to say it. I'm eating a lot more than most women would eat, and I think most women would be afraid to eat as much as I do, but because I do the kind of activity that I do, like because of the intensity and the amount of work that I do, I'm able to eat like this also. All that being said, so on my training days, I'm eating just under 2,400 calories. My protein is 140, carbs are at 300, and my fats are at 70. On rest days, I'm a little bit less, so I'm eating just over 2,100 calories, and then protein stays the same at 140. My carbs go down to 270 and fats are at 60. So, I mean, I can't complain. This is a lot of food. Like, honestly, going on 3 weeks in, I didn't think that I would still be eating this much, but luckily I am lean enough where we're not really cutting yet. So I've just been, basically released to stay the same, same cardio and same calories and macros, that I've been on for the past 3 weeks so far. So I'm glad about that because I love to eat.
So for me as her support system and knowing that all the hard work that she's put in over the years to get to this point, and she's really built herself up to be able to carry and eat those kinds of carbs and calories and proteins and fats and everything, and to know that she's not going to have to make these drastic cuts and these drastic swings. And I think that's a testament to your diet being a lifestyle and not just saying, I want to hop on board and try this fad or try this one thing. It's really like, if you want to look a certain way, if you want to carry yourself a certain way, if you want a certain quality of health in life, it's a daily decision, and it really is a daily decision to make sure you just kind of keep things in check. Now, that doesn't mean that, in this season, you're not eating much garbage.
No. But I'm still eating some things that I would.
Well,
that I'm surprised that I.
Well, what I'm finding fun is that you're eating things now that you wouldn't have eaten before. Like, there's cereal in the house. I love cereal. She's eating cereal. I was so excited for cereal.
Because I had 300 carbs to eat. And a lot of times I'm eating them like right before I train and right after I train, and so they need to be like quick absorbing. So we have a lot of checks in the house. We have some Honey Nut Cheerios, like stuff like that that's gonna real quick. And so I mean it's cool, and even my coach said right now, he's like it doesn't right now, it doesn't matter as much what it is that you're putting in your body, as long as the timing is right. And that you're hitting the macros that you need to hit. So I'm eating the majority of my carbs before and after my workout. And of course, things will change as I get deeper into prep, and I have to actually cut certain things out, like cereal and stuff. But and I'll be eating a lot more, just rice and basic meats and everything. But for now, I mean, like I'm able to be flexible with it, and my physique is responding. When I started cleaning up my diet the very first day of January, because that was kind of like my goal. I was like, we're gonna start there, and then I think it was 2 weeks in to January. I got my plan from my coach, and since the beginning of January, I have lost 3 pounds solid, and about 3/4 of an inch on my waist. Well, I had gained about 2 inches on my glutes from when I started like last spring. So so I gained, and some was fat, of course, but since then I've lost I think maybe half an inch on my glutes. Uh, but the point is, like, I built muscle, and then I'm slimming down, which is good because even though I'm still on high calories, I'm still I'm still leaning out. So it's kind of cool to see, even though it's slow progress, and it's an up and down thing, but even though it's up and down, it's trending down. So it's good.
I think something that a conversation you had with your coach just the other day was in talking about that scale and kind of watching the numbers on the scale, and he said that it's the law of averages. Instead of just always trending, like, okay, one day you're at 126, 127, 128, back to 126, like, and it's gonna fluctuate from day to day based on the amount of water and fluid that you have in your system, and based on how hard the workout was the day before,
Sleep,
based on your sleep,
recovery,
based on inflammation and that time of the month, you know what I mean? So all those things come into factors, and how not to just so much fixate on a number on a scale, especially at this point in the game. We're still 13 weeks out.
Yeah, we're about 13 weeks out.
So just kind of finding that law of averages, which was great advice from Paul. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
So what about anything else? Anything else you just want to kind of add to the mix? You ran into. Go ahead.
I was going to say, just to touch on the weight thing, especially for women, when you see that weight pop up, this is what I was trying to share with my husband this past Sunday, and it was just something kind of like rolled off my tongue, and I feel like a lot of women can understand. So I gotten on the scale, and after several days of kind of trending down, like around 127, and I think I might have even hit a 126.8 or something, and then the next day it was like 128, and I was like, what? Like, come on. And it was just that immediate feeling when I saw that number, because like, since we're recording every single day, I had to write that number down, and I was like, ugh, like, it's like I gained 1.5 pounds in a day. And of course, I didn't gain 1.5 pounds of fat in a day. It's like impossible to do that. So it was probably inflammation, because Saturdays happened to be a really hard day for me at the gym. But I guess I was trying to share with my husband that the initial emotional feeling of seeing that number just was discouraging. And it was like I couldn't help to have that feeling, even though, because I've done this before and I've put people, through plans before. So I totally understand that the body fluctuates and weight fluctuates and everything. But it was just that emotional feeling. And so when I shared it with him, immediately he started to,
Well, where I failed was, no, I'll admit it. Where I failed is I didn't ask the question, do you want a solution or do you want a hug? And what she needed in the moment was a hug. And just, as a male and my personality, if I see something that's a problem, and not necessarily that it was a problem, but I wanted to encourage her and say, hey, listen, we're 13 weeks out. You'll be okay. You don't have to worry about that. But that wasn't what she wanted to hear.
Well, because it was like that gut reaction of just, this is what I felt. And I was sharing it with him because, when you're working so hard and you're very focused and then you see something happen you don't want to happen, you just have an emotional response. And I was just sharing that response with him. And I wasn't even necessarily complaining and saying like, ugh, like I'm obsessing over this number. But it was almost like he projected that onto me. Like, then I felt like I was obsessing over it, but I was like, I was just trying to share, And so it was really ultimately a miscommunication between us, and we talked it out like literally all day. We talked it out several times throughout the day, because I had to it's like we had to clear it out, like figure it out. Like he was trying to tell me what he was trying to, that he was trying to help me, and I was trying to tell him that I didn't need help. I was just like sharing what I felt, and so a learning experience, because it was like not even a big deal. Like, really looking back at it, it was like stupid. But now we know when it happens again that, we'll react differently, both of us. And yeah, I mean, it's gone, it's done, and it's all good now. But I also, yeah, I'll remember that in the future, so that, you know, when I'm sharing, oh, my weight went up, like, to either, like, you know, preface it or be prepared for help.
Yeah.
So,
Um, so we,
is that it?
I think we're getting along.
Oh yeah, we're getting along well now.
Well,
Okay.
no, I'm saying, yes, we are getting along, but I think we're getting along on the video.
Oh, we're getting
And plus,
long.
I gotta eat and I gotta go to work.
Oh,
So,
I have to eat too.
Again, thank you guys so much for following and just spending some time, just killing some time, listening to us ramble. We appreciate it. Thank you for your support in the journey. It was so exciting to see just kind of all the people that watched the video, the first one. Just thank you guys for that. You know, if we can be of any help to anyone out there in the world, be it for whatever reason, let us know. Thank you so much. Subscribe to her channel.
Yep.
DestroyTheGlove.com. Check her out on Instagram.
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, that was long, huh?